Hey guys, Jane from Relax Fit Tactical. Today I want to talk about how to deal with manufacturers. 3 pointers I want to give to you. Be careful when you are ordering overseas. And second, know your design very well. And third, what to ask for when you are ordering your samples. So first, I want to share with you the experience that I got. I like to have more than one manufacturer just because if plan A doesn't go well, you always have a backup plan. And it's always good to reach out to different countries and just seeing the quality and, of course, the price. Be careful when you're ordering overseas because first, I want to talk about payment methods. You need to know the payment methods that they are using. Sometimes you would have to download an app that we don't have in the US. Make sure it's legit, make sure the company's vetted, make sure they have good reviews online, make sure you ask as many questions as you can and proof of the receipt, and save all of that information just in case. You want to know how many years they've been in business for, all of that good stuff. So that's step number 1. Just be very careful, know where you're ordering from, know the company, and always ask about the payment methods. Second thing, know your design and be very detailed about your design. I'm going to give you an example of a very bad assumption that I made. I wanted just a regular camo shorts for our product, and we didn't go very detailed in what type of camo and the color and the camo pattern and all that stuff. So this was the result. Are you ready? It's horrifying. I'm going to stop right there because they gave me a metallic pea color. Honestly, if some people like this, cool, whatever, but definitely not for our company. This is an example of what not to do when you are trying to order samples just because they say, okay, yes, we can make this shorts, we can make that shorts. You need to talk about your material, like to the percentage, 92% cotton, 8% polyester, whatever it may be. You need to know the design. You need to know the stitching. Do you want reinforcement on the stitching? You need to know what type of zipper you want on the shorts. You need to know how many pockets you want in total. You need to know, this is a very important one, what kind of mesh you want. If you are trying to go for the inside mesh, what type? Because if you can see this, it is so rough. It is so rough, and it is probably the cheapest type of mesh out there. When I try to feel it, it's just so not pleasant to touch. So know your product very well, know your design. If you need to get an artist just to sketch it up, draw it up, put it on Adobe and just make your spreadsheets like really, really good for them to understand, like measurements, how deep the pockets that you want to be, what type of drawstrings you want. This is okay. This is a really good, I don't know if you can see it, there you go. This is a really good tip for the drawstring. Sometimes they can put like the plastic tip. You need to know what kind of stitching. I asked for a double stitching just so everything will be, good quality and everything is going to be like legit. And just if you're not happy with how the sample look, just imagine when they have to do this in bulk production. This stitching is messy. This stitching, I did not tell them about how the stitching needs to be completely, you assume, right, because they are a manufacturer company, you assume that they know all of these things, and you cannot assume anything. You need to tell them again and again I want the stitching to be perfect. I want it twice, a run through. I want the zipper to be like this. I want the mesh to be like this. And then don't forget to talk about your tags too. I didn't talk about the tags for this company, for this manufacturer, but you need to design your tags. So how big you want it, what kind of style you want it, what kind of information you want on your tags, all of that. You need to learn how to do your logo in AI file so they can, resize or recolor or do whatever it is do whatever edit that they need to do on their end. That was just one example of the one that I did not expect. Next, I ordered a basketball shorts, same concept. I wanted, my product to be the same. And again, I did not specify what type of mesh I wanted, and they gave me this. I know that you can't feel it. Again, it is not soft. It is so hot. Definitely a no-go for me. They did the stitching okay here, but as a manufacturer, you want business, right? So it's like we assume that, hey, do your best and we will order from you. But no, do not assume anything when you are ordering your stuff. Okay. And I think that goes for like overseas and US. So you just have to over communicate with these people. And then you need to know exactly what type of like material you want. Do you want French terry? What do they call it? French terry? Yeah, French terry cotton. Do you want organic cotton or whatever else that they have? You need to know your material, go to different stores and feel them. That's what I like to do. I like to go to Bass Pro and just feel every single shorts and look at the tags. What is this made out of? And then I would take notes, take pictures. Again, I'm gonna talk about the mesh. This is so hard and hot and rough. It is a no-go. So that's gonna be pretty much what you're gonna have to do in terms of being very detailed about your design. And then the third thing that I want to talk about is what to ask for when you're doing these things. First, I talked about the payment methods. Second, minimum order quantity, also known as MOQ. Sometimes they will have an MOQ of, this is for bulk production, 10 to all the way up to like 10,000, right? Depending on what your product is. The less you get, the more expensive, obviously. And when you get 10,000 products, they can go really, really cheap. But of course, you need to think about your budget and think about where you're going to store this. If you're a small business like us, you're gonna have to store all of this at home and you're just gonna have to deal with that until your product goes out. You need to also ask about the different type of materials. So if you're, let's say, looking for cotton, a pair of cotton shorts, you need to ask them, can you send me with my sample different colors and different cotton material? And they can cut up this little piece of cloth for you, just for you to feel the different types of cottons that they have in their factory, or the ones that they can purchase, stuff like that. And you want to ask them about, again, the tags. You want to ask them how much extra if I want this type of zipper, or this type of drawstring tip. Or don't forget that you also have options on your drawstrings. Just because in their picture sometimes they just show you this one, it doesn't mean that you have to use this. You can design everything to the T. So it's really important to ask all of these things first, because you don't want to end up with a metallic P camo shorts. That's the tips and tricks that I have for you guys today. Follow us, subscribe to Relax Fit Tactical, and we will give you more content.